Hello there, my name is Didi and here I am with a new video. I'm here in London as the new global intern for EF, and I'm here today to give you guys some tips on how to lose your accent when talking in English. As an Italian person, I would consider myself with a very strong kind of American accent. I always try my best when I'm talking in English not to sound Italian, just because when I started learning English and approach this new language, I didn't want people to know where I was from just because of my accent. I started taking English serious when I was around like 14 years old, when I decided that I wanted to watch, listen, and watch everything on television, YouTube, or TV series or Netflix in English. So let's start with this video, shall we? One of the most important things that I'm gonna tell you right now is that you have to choose your accent. For instance, I've decided to choose like the American accent just because I was like listening to everything, watching movies that were in American, and personally I found like American easier for me as an Italian. But you can choose wherever you want and you gotta stick to it. So if you want to go for the Queen accent, so the proper British accent, you can go for it. So if you go for an American accent, you gotta stick to it. Step number one, choose in which accent you wanna speak when talking. Watch everything, but I mean everything you watch normally in English, because if you're trying to study and learn English in your country, it's very difficult to find situations where you can actually talk in English. So that's why you gotta help yourself. I started doing that when I was 14, so I just forced myself to watch everything from TV series, movies, interviews, music, interviews of my favorite actresses, actors, musicians, and singers, everything in English. I know it's very difficult at first because you may not understand everything, but trust me, if you keep on pushing and keep on watching everything in English, is gonna be a huge help for you. So I'm Italian and every language is different, and so in my case we pronounce everything. I'm not kidding. We pronounce every letter of like the words that we read. Every letter is pronounced in Italian. You have to be very careful to sound. Sounds, especially in English, are very important. There are many differences between our language and English. So for instance, one of my favorite words in English is Manhattan. And when I heard for the first time Manhattan, I was like, are you serious? Is that an actual word? I learned that sometimes in English you don't have to pronounce like every letter at all. Another important tip that might be very similar to what I just said, but you don't have to take that for granted, is try to focus on those words that you take for granted. Because for instance, hamburger, bar, they're very similar in other languages, or might be the same in other languages, but the pronunciation is different. So if you want to really improve like your pronunciation, you gotta be very careful to those little details. We say hamburger in Italy, but in English is hamburger. So that is very key. And also, I know I'm Italian, we don't say spaghetti because we don't say it like that. We say spaghetti, and that's the way you're supposed to say that. But since I'm trying to improve my English and be 100% American as I can, I just got used to say spaghetti, and that's the way it is. Also gelato, we don't say gelato, we say gelato. But if you want to improve and if you want to lose your accent, that's the way you do it, guys. This is a very key tip. I know everything I just said is very important, but this is very, very important. After watching everything in English, what I did was repeat everything out loud. Repeat the words that I found like interesting, some phrases that I might use. Learn some catchphrases from movies or TV series, like the catchphrase of Joy and Friends, like how you doing. And since I wasn't like that fluent in English, I would repeat everything out loud for so much until my tongue was used to say those words in the right way. I try to learn, for example, Manhattan, and I try to repeat that word again and again, and now it sounds natural for me to say Manhattan. But that was just because I used to repeat everything out loud, and I still do. I read books out loud, repeat a word or a dialogue that I just heard in a movie that I might like. Also because our voice change when we talk in another language, so I think it's very helpful if you repeat things out loud in order for yourself to get used to your new voice, if you know what I mean. And my final tip for today is to take every chance you have to speak in English in your daily environment. I know it's very hard because if you're not studying, for example, in the States or England or, you know, those countries where you actually have to speak English, it's very hard to improve or just speak out loud. What I did, for example, in high school, we used to read in class out loud, like pieces of text in English, and I was always the one who put like her hands, you know, up to read out loud, just because you have to challenge yourself a little. Because I know when we are trying to learn a new language, it's very hard sometimes because we might, you know, make a fool of ourselves. You have to challenge yourself a little bit in order to improve. I really hope you might find this video helpful in some way, and I really hope you will improve your English in the best way you can. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I wish you the best, and let's learn and let's improve with this English together. I'm gonna say bye-bye from the EF office here in London, and again, wish you luck. Bye-bye.